right, I'm back here with Elder Comyn.
I'm back with Elder Skye.
Yeah, it's actually we were having a great conversation after our broadcast yesterday, talking about elders. And my upbringing was in the Mormon church, and the Mormon missionaries. You see these young guys go around, and they call themselves elder.
Oh, they do?
They do.
I thought it was a joke.
No, we were joking that we should get these name badges like the Mormon missionaries, Elder Comyn, Elder Skye.
Wear a white shirt and a tie.
And it doesn't really make sense because these guys are 19 to 21. They're not like elder in the sense of they're not older.
But it's a great example. I thought you were joking.
No.
But elder is a role you take on.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with your age.
Yes. And it's that role of reaching out to people who are not your own kin or family or children, and basically saying, I'm going to bring them into the fold. I'm gonna raise them up, or in the Mormon case, bring them back to our Father in heaven.
Take care.
So
of them.
there's that context, but yeah, elder and eldering. They're not words we use so much these days, but they do have a history.
For me, it's a beautiful calling. It's like we talked over the years about going back for a brother, and it's in that sense that I see it. And to me, it's if a change is going to happen in the way we relate to one another, I see that the point with the biggest leverage is for men to show up as an elder for other men.
Yes. People.
What do you mean?
Well, for women, children.
Yes.
And other men, yes.
Yes.
So yesterday we talked about this role of being an elder, and it's a role that many men in today's modern Western world don't take on so much, especially those men who are not religious, or are not like involved in a leadership role in community, like let's say like a scout leader, a martial arts instructor.
Let me interrupt and say where we're going today. We want to connect with yesterday's understanding that it's a big challenge nowadays to become an elder, maybe a bigger challenge than before. And then we want to go into who to be an elder for and how you can be an elder for someone. That's going to be the arc of the story, and I'll keep track of it. So.
And yesterday we talked about there's a great opportunity. There's great wealth that you can reclaim and restore, like a natural masculine wealth that will enrich your life profoundly.
Yes.
With meaning and connection and purpose. If you take on the epic challenge of being an elder.
Yes. But it's an epic challenge, especially now, not just the playing of the role, but especially now, because there is no structure in place that will have you, accept that role of an elder. You almost have to, without support or without history, without tradition, without culture, you almost have to choose it and commit to it. And that alone is epic.
Yes, because in our culture nowadays, there is no elder role. There's no context for having an elder.
Right.
You get older and you retire and you enjoy life, and hopefully you're happy and financially independent, and then you die. But the greatest thing that men can do is in their later years, when they have that wisdom to pass on, when they can do that mentoring.
Well, if you see it is the greatest thing, and then it's still very difficult for men to take on that role, why is that? Do we not see how great that is? Do we have no tradition of experiencing that?
So I think partly with American culture, which is now the flavor of Western culture that's kind of spreading throughout the world, is America is made up of people who said fuck you to their own tradition and culture and their elders, and got on a boat and sailed to the New World and said, we're going to make it up, we're going to live free, We want to be free from our tradition. We want to be free from our old language and customs. And then America has this this ethos of being a melting pot. That basically means leaving your tradition and language behind and blending in. And so I think that's a part of it. And then with modern technology and everything, older people tend to be the last ones to catch on to the new technology. And technology is advancing so fast that you can lose young people can lose respect for older folks, because the young ones are teaching the older ones how to use the technology.
Yes.
And how to move into the future in a way. So I think there's a lot of reasons for it, but they're very much. I'll announce or just say one more big thing, part of Western culture, because we value free speech almost above all. That a corollary to that is we don't value respect, not like other cultures. In many other cultures, respect is more important than free speech. And so we will, like, fuck you, I'm going to say what I want. I don't care if it offends you. I don't care if it doesn't honor you and your age and your wisdom and all this. Like, I'm me.
Yes.
I'm a separate entity. I'm not part of this.
I'm going to do what I want.
I'm not the son of so-and-so and the grandson of so-and-so connected to the people of so-and-so of this land. Like, I'm disconnected. I'm just me. I do what I want.
It's so funny. I wrote a newsletter this morning describing exactly that, where in the West you have a very big stress on individualism with all its greatness, you know, but it's not balanced out with the same stress on, say, community. In Japan you have I read a piece that said the big difference was in Japan you have the idea of the other is always part of what you decide. You're always aware and take into account the other. And it's like if the West is like almost, I'm going to make sure that I don't have to do it, you know, like I'm not doing it and I don't want to do it. And so we don't have it balanced out with a sense of community or the other. If you go to Japan where honor is so important, where respect is so important, it's you know, people don't lock their bikes because nobody's going to steal them. You know, it has an incredible sense of honor. It has an incredible culture of honor, because the more honor you see, the more it's cultivated in the others. I remember this scene. Maybe I told you this once. I was on a metro, and an older couple sat down, and they put their bags up, and they got off the train, tram, metro, and I see it happening. And I'm thinking, they're forgetting their bags, you know. And as the doors are closing, I'm taking the bags and I'm giving them, you know. And I stay into the train, and they take the bags. And I'll never forget this, man. I still get, it's amazing. This older couple, as I'm going away with the train, you know, they stand there and they bow, they bow until I leave the train station, and I'm like, oh man, it's just so touching. It's just. You cannot not live in that, you know, when it's all around you. It's just
that spirit of honor and that way of honoring. Yeah, that's another deep missing we have in American culture.
Yeah, we don't have the culture of honor. We don't have the culture of eldership.
Yeah, and in many ways we don't have the culture of brothers either. And we don't have a role of honor for our people. We don't have a people. Mostly, we no longer have a people as clearly defined as it used to be.
Yeah.
Well, my people is this clan. We are the people of this land. You know, we're also people without a land. Most of us. I mean, you and I are nomads.
Yes.
You know, most people throughout most of human history, they come from a place, and it's the place where their ancestors fought battles. Yes. It's the place where, you know, they got their name from. It's the place that they've defended. It's the place that they belong. Like, there's such a deep missing of what I would call like natural masculine wealth, and we don't even know what's missing.
Yes.
We're affected by it deeply, and we try to make up for it, but we don't realize what it is, and that we can actually reclaim it. So that's what we're up to here.
Yeah, because if it's so beautiful, but there's no culture of eldership, of honor, of brotherhood, you know. But it's so beautiful, and you want to take it on. You know, it comes with a lot of challenges of like, how do I do this? Where do I start? And or the question, for example, who am I an elder to? You know. So we talked a little bit about that, but it could be one of the ways that, for a man who feels the call to be an elder, to start being an elder for someone, is to answer the question, or to choose who you can be an elder for.
This is the epic challenge for the men of our time, Hans. To reclaim these sacred, natural, masculine values and wealth, and to do it for everyone. Yes, to do it for everyone. And despite the epic difficulty inherent in that challenge.
Are you saying to be an elder for everyone?
Not necessarily. But as you do it, here's the thing about this kind of wealth. As you give it, others want to give it. You know? I was driving down from Fort Worth to Austin a few weeks ago. Me and my brother John were doing a Ronin radio episode that hasn't come out yet. And we were talking about basically how I went back for him a number of times. And I went back and we stopped and we picked up Braden, my I think he's my oldest nephew. He's early 20s. And he got to hear how I went back for his dad and his uncles, his two uncles, you know, and we told those stories, you know, and then later John, who I went back for, my brother, came back for me, you know, and he got to sit and hear this. And then we got to tell of like how John, my brother, who I went back for Braden, you know, has like really gone back for him. And the sense of honor in doing that, of course, Braden's going to want to go back for his younger brothers. Like, he's going to want to be an elder because he's going to have honor for his uncles.
Honor begets honor.
Yes.
Eldership begets eldership.
Yes.
But still, we talked a little bit about before that you wanted to address this. One of the ways to start being an elder is to choose, maybe from just a managerial point of view right now, who you can be an elder for.
Yes.
Did you have any insights or recommendations on that?
Yeah, so, and we talked yesterday about this whole domain of being an elder. It will develop your leadership capability to an extreme degree.
Yes.
Like if you take on the mantle, like, okay, I'm going to be an elder for my people, you are going to embark on a journey that can develop like a martial artist up to level of black belt and beyond in your leadership capability. So it's a great opportunity there. And what I would say, Hans, and try this on for size, okay? Someone comes to you, it could be as a friend, it could be as a business partner, it could be as a romantic partner. They come into your life in this way. You see each other deeply, and you embark on some kind of journey together. It could be your stepfather. It could be any of these, you know, where you come together. And then at the point where you have this conflict and you feel like divorcing them, right? Like maybe you have a stepson and the mother has cut you off, you know, you guys have broken up, she's tried to cut you off from her son, or you've had a girlfriend who has a son and she wants to cut you off from her children. In that moment, you can see the course of that young man's life, you know, of having had you as an elder, in a way, a mentor to look up to. And now the woman comes in and breaks it off and you go away, you know, and his broken connection to that long tradition, that beautiful tradition of elderhood. And you could see, like, now what if you stood there and you said, this bond will not be broken. I am his elder, you know, young man, I'm here for you, you know, I'm here for you. I'm not going anywhere. Doesn't matter what your mother says, I'm here for you. And in that moment, you restore that lineage, that tradition. And
well, I see great power in what you're doing there is to continue to be an elder, meaning once you have decided to be an elder, you're an elder for life. That's not going anywhere.
That's okay. That's one thing, but that's something that often doesn't happen.
Yes, and it's very valuable.
Yes,
100%. And we could talk about this, but then we're not addressing like how do you choose who's that boy, who's that man in the first place that you choose to be an elder for.
So let me give some examples. So let's go back in time. Let's say I'll use a personal example.
Okay.
I was at a retreat with a man who'd been an elder for me for years in Mexico. He was a Belgian guy who'd come back for me a few times. He'd been an elder for me. And he was leading a retreat, and I wanted to go and support him, in a way, go back for him, show up. And he and I had our falling outs several times. And it's my way to always go back, Like, I'm not going to break that bond. We're brothers, I'm going to honor you as my elder, and I'm going to be an elder when the time comes. And for me, being an elder is not a matter of age. It's playing a role. So I'm going back for him. I show up at this event, and there's a mother there that I find myself very attracted to, and her son is there. And her son has been sick. Her son has had a lot of anxiety. Her mother is divorced with the father, and the son is not living anywhere near the father. Doesn't have that connection to him. And I see this guy. He's about 18 years old, and I see this. I know what he's facing, I can only imagine what he's facing, because I've been there. I've been him, My parents got divorced. My father was kicked out of the house, and I was left to fend for myself. And it's a crisis moment, because in that moment the young man will define himself, and the rest of his life can go one way or go the other way. And although I had something with his mother, who I also went back for several times as an elder, we'll talk about that too, because you can do it with women you're in a relationship with. A big part of the reason why I pursued that relationship as much as I did over the years was to be there for him.
I see now clearly. Would you say that you felt a calling to be an elder for him? So it's way less. I'll say it this way. It's way less a logical, managerial question and answer. It really like you feel it, and so instead of what we're doing on this call is trying to answer that question, what we're touching upon is the calling to be an elder will come when another human being is your calling to be an elder. Meaning you could feel it. There's something there, because I recognize it. The moment I'm thinking of a woman, and we first had a relationship, and then I saw that I could be the one who stays for her, even if I'm not the boyfriend. And I remember feeling it. I'm like, yes, because she had a rich history of men just disappearing from her life.
Was this the one who was an orphan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I can be there. I can be the one, And it's a calling that instantly fills me with like, yes. So it's not really. The question not really is who should I be an elder for? It's like look and look for the calling that's out there. It's not there. That's here. Look for the calling and feel it
yes.
and answer it.
Yes.
So the question is not who can you be an elder for. The question is there someone in your life right now, people who are watching, listening, You think about that person, and you think, could I be an elder for them? And if it fills you like with honor, if you could feel it in your body, that's the calling.
And Hans, the more that someone engages with the honor work, this is the work that we're developing. We are training men in, women also, but right now the big focus is men. The more that you do it, the more you feel called in your life in different moments. Like you want purpose, you want meaning. Do the honor work, because Hans, like if someone goes through the honor window, especially going into those lower quadrants we were talking about yesterday, then the calling comes, because you'll realize, and especially if you become someone who facilitates the honor window, you'll see that person stuck behind the walls of their own judgments, or you'll see yourself stuck. You'll see both people stuck, and you'll know, I can resolve this. I can lead this to glory, and you also know that they don't know how to do it, and you're both going to be trapped in prison if you say, well, they're not doing their part.
Yes.
It's
like it's maybe it's like being a droite dancer, being a very good dancer. You can make a woman who never danced before shine, and you look at her and you say, wow, what a great dancer. She never danced before. You need only one. She needs to accept the invitation, but one, he's in charge, he does all the thing, and she shines. That's the power of if you're going on mastering the honor work, you feel very, very powerful.
Yes.
I'm wrapping it up here, because we could talk about also the how, but maybe we should do this tomorrow.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about the who.
The who. Okay.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
So, as another example, this woman, this Mexican woman, with her son, as I got to know her, I saw a woman who was she was raised without a father, and like, that just gets me, man. That just gets me, because I know how powerful it is to have a father, and I can only imagine like the not having. And like, I kind of had both in a way, because I had it up till 14, a father in the home and a deep relationship with fathers, grandfathers, elders. And then there was that cut, that break, and I was left without it. So I can empathize profoundly. I know what the missing is, and I could see, there were things that she did that I wanted to judge her for and blame her for and use that as an excuse to walk away. And from having done the honor work, I get it, man. Here's a woman wounded from not having a father, and she's trying to cope with that and survive in life. And yeah, I feel a certain way about how I would like her to be in relationship with me. And when this happens, when I feel like, okay, I have a reason to walk away and not engage anymore in the relationship the way that we set it up, let's say romantic relationship with the woman, and I want to leave her, it's in that moment that I will often feel the call to transition to elder. So instead of boyfriend, I'm elder, and because I can see her future. I'm one more man who's evidence that men are such and such a way, and then I see how that is going to affect her relationship to her sons, who are trying to grow up and become men.
Man, just talking about this right now, I can feel it. I'm seeing these relationships, and I can feel. I know how to deal with it better now.
Yeah. And I see. Okay, I leave, and I see the impact on these boys. I see the impact on her, and the boys' children, and their relationships, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to put my arm around her, like a spiritual sister in a way, like a spiritual younger sister, and she is my sister, in that sense, and I'm gonna lead this, to a beautiful place.
Yes.
And speaking of the honor work, this is where the how to do that comes in, because it is a challenging journey. It's a challenging role.
Yes.
It's very challenging, but the skills that you develop will allow you to be that visionary leader for your people, in business, in your relationship, in family, and it's a it's next level leadership work.
Yes, and it's epic, and you got to develop the skills, and the honor work is great. But what we're also offering is, if our culture is not one of honor, is not one of vision, is not one of eldership, is not one of brotherhood, we are creating our own culture with our allies, with our little community, with the people we work with our community all around the world. And it is easier in that culture. It is easier to be an elder, to be a brother, to be an ally. And so, if you want to be part of this community, of this culture,
the ones who are restoring honor, elderhood, and brotherhood on the planet now.
Yes. If you want to be part of that, let us know. Tomorrow, we'll talk about more about the how of being an elder.
Yes, and for the men who feel called to be an elder, like to face that mountain, to take on that role of leadership and responsibility for your people, we have a beautiful, powerful training coming up this October here in Medellín, Colombia, that we would like to gift to men who are committed to being one of the ones who are going to restore honor, elderhood, and brotherhood on our planet now.
Yes. I'm not taking the last words, but contact us.